Hello world, what's up guys? This is Dave Van Auken once again, back again on the Fight Bananas podcast. And before we get started, we are fueled by Fusion CBD. Check out fusioncbdproducts.com. Hit up the website right now. Hit them up on IG. They always have great discounts at fusioncbdproducts.com. All right, guys, hopefully you guys had a great weekend. It was an action-packed weekend in MMA, like always in 2020. We're going to have a cool guest on from MMA Island, a really great MMA Instagram account. They actually have their own website, MMAisland.ag. Christy Santiago is coming on the show. He does a lot of interviews, and they do really, really great content on their IG. That's MMA Island. But before we get into Chris, a lot of stuff over the weekend. A big action-packed weekend. Hopefully, wait a second. I got to count something real quick. Wait 1 second. Yep. 200. Okay, 400. All right, that's me counting all my money on my 3-fight parlays. That's what I'm talking about. 3 in a row, guys. It was really cool. A couple of you guys reached out to me and goes, all right, Dave, we're rolling with it. We're going with it. They won as well. That's 3 in a row. You just can't make that up, man. I'm in a weird way. I'm looking back. I probably should have been doing this a long time ago. The boys from Inside the Distance podcast has really pushed me, and they opened up, my eyes on some things. And with all the inside information I know, and the training camps, and who had a good training camp and what styles, it just, it's easier for me that's got some good information and knows who's who and what's what to pick a couple in a row. So we're flying, guys. Hopefully you guys made some money, and we're going to keep it going. We got Contender Series, another UFC show, that Covington and Woodley. It's going to be a great fight. So a couple things there. Talking about money and things of that nature. Guys, did you see that Mike Rodriguez was in that Ocean's 11 movie? It was co-starred George Clooney, Brad Pitt, and Ed Herman. Like, come on, guys. He was robbed. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't. Just a veteran in the sport. Ed is respected by so much, and for I don't want to use the word admit, but just to say, oh, he didn't know where he got hit. God, that was robbery. I felt awful for Mikey Rods. Because he's still a hot prospect. Dana knows. Dana even paid him the $12K. So I just hope Mikey Rods gets back in the octagon soon. Feel bad for him. Hopefully he's good. His arm's good and shoulder's good and all that nature. But just a robbery from Ed Herman. Just wow. Talking about a wow moment, and we love moments here at Fight Bananas. How about Kevin Croom, right? Took the fight on 2 days' notice against Roosevelt Roberts. And everyone just kept on saying a day notice, 2-day notice. I love one thing that Laura Senko tweeted about. You can say he had 36 hours of notice. You can throw that out there. The man had 11 years notice. He's been working and grinding and clawing and training for 11 years in the best sport in the world, mixed martial arts. And Kevin put it all to work. He showed his hands, showed his power, showed his transitional skills, shown the submission skills to get a first round submission. Dana White in 50K. We love moments here at Fight Bananas. We love, underdogs and the grind and the claw. It's what we do here on a daily basis. It was just really cool. It was a great moment. And very, very happy for Kevin. And like I said, just happy to keep on rolling. All right, before we get Chris, last note, talking about being happy and clawing and grinded, the main event. What a featured main event. And if you would have told me, right, if you would have said, hey, Dave, 2020, 5 years ago, there's going to be a main event, 115-pound female fight will be the main event. Oh, it's for a championship, right? It's an undefeated fight. No, it's 12-8, type of fighters. Not even on major winning streaks, but that's how far we've came. And I was so happy for Angie Hill. It was the first African female fighter to be in a main event. Very happy for her. Great fight. Robbery, I think it's a little bit too strong. I thought Angie Hill won 3-2, but it was razor sharp, like razor sharp. I can vibe if you were down with a Karate Hottie and Michelle Watterson with the win. I'm down with that. Really great fight. I'm just happy for both females. I'm happy for the sport. I'm happy for all of us that we can have a main event with Michelle Watterson and Angie Hill. Also, I was at the Bare Knuckle FC event live in Daytona Beach on Friday, right? And the main event, Julian Lane and Thiago Alves. I'm just happy how the momentum of the combat sports arena and see where we're all at. And we can have minorities, and we can have veterans, we can have young people, we can have females, males. It doesn't matter. If you put your ass out, if you work and grind hard inside that ring or cage, people will be ready to watch. People will pay money. The Ocean Center was packed here in Daytona. A lot of really cool, great moments. Definitely the star of the show is Keemon Evans. Keemon Evans from Daytona Beach, Florida. We interviewed him the week of the show. First round knockout, the moment of the show. What an unbelievable performance by Keemon, the King Evans. Great performance by Hector Lombard and Thiago Alves. The main event was razor sharp. Alves won via split decision. So Bare Knuckle FC is on fire. We can't wait for the event next month. I actually talked to Marcel Stamps. Marcel's in the main event against Joey Beltran. And I talked to Marcel Stamps at weigh-ins. He feels really, really amped for this fight. He loves that he doesn't have to cut weight. He loves that he can just let it bang. He thinks he's going to be the faster, more precise fighter at Bare Knuckle FC 13 for the heavyweight championship. So, but guys, we have a packed show. Like I said, Chris from MMA Island's coming on. We're going to preview the next 2 months in MMA, especially UFC 253. UFC 254. We're going to talk about Covington and Woodley. We're going to talk about Nico Price and the Cowboy Cerrone. We're going to also throw out a couple big fights that we would love to see in 2021. So hopefully you enjoy. Guys, definitely check out our family over there at Just Blaze Clothing. Hit up their website right now at justblazeclothing.com. Great website. They're from the 305. Big things going down there for them at justblazeclothing.com. All right, here's Christy Santiago from MMA Island. What's up, guys? We are live, man. Happy Monday morning. What's up, guys? Another great week of mixed martial arts. So much stuff. Bare Knuckle, LFA, Bellator, UFC. It's crazy. But my main man, Chris D. Santiago, MMA Island. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on, Dave. I really appreciate it.
Dude, we're Fight Bananas. You're MMA Island. I'm telling you, if we combine and create this greatest, most unique name ever, how about Fight Island? That sounds pretty good. I've never heard that before.
I'm pretty sure that's already copyrighted, though. So I think Banana Island has to be the name for
it. Okay. MMA Banana Island. I actually liked it. That's not bad,
Yeah, for sure.
Let's get into you. Let's get into your, I love the Instagram page. I love your guys' interviews. We talked to Scrappy Lampros a couple weeks ago about it. How did it start? When did you kind of come up with it? And, where'd you guys, what's the kind of goal you guys want to go?
So I think my goal for at least Instagram-wise is 50K by the end of this year.
Okay.
And I think 100K by the end of 2021. That's a big goal. I feel like MMA Island will reach that next level by the end of next year. But I just want to go on other platforms and establish ourselves as a legit media brand in the MMA community.
Right. When I go to your page, I'm just one of those guys. I wake up in the morning. Other people do other stuff. I pick up my phone right away and I go on Instagram and I go on Twitter. That's just my newspaper. It's 2020. It's what we do, especially looking MMA stuff and looking at sports stuff, whatever, right? I love your guys' page. It's just, and especially in times like this when a lot of stuff is so hard and serious, and every single time you guys, I'm like, man, that was a good one. MMA Island got me again. You always make me think, laugh. I love your guys' page. So, did you guys want to go that route, a little bit more of the funny or a little bit more of the creative outlet instead of just, here's the news, Dustin Poirier is out against Ferguson, but you guys always do it with a X-Men with Morph, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I think when I first started the page in 2018, I was kind of I didn't really have any plans on making it into a news page. I just wanted to cover memes because that was easier, but I think later on I realized that to brands, you need to go on the professional route. I think you need to cover news and media.
Right.
So like I'm kind of like pushing it back on the memes just like a little bit, but obviously that's what a lot of people like. So I do memes now every now and then, but I think to go more professionally, I think I need to do news
Okay.
primarily.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like, dude, I always think too, it's funny. I talked to my wife about it, right? And like people like sometimes be like, well, you talk to like with me with Fight Banaz, right? They talk like you talk with other outlets and media and members and stuff. I'm like, yeah, man, like I think what we do is good and we talk to good people. We have great interviews and people always want to come back. Like we're confident in what we're doing. Like I always want to me, more eyes on different content, more eyes on different brands, I think is good. There's just different ways. I love ice cream. There's like 9 flavors. It's okay to eat 9 different flavors. Like it doesn't have to be such a stranglehold. So many other sites and media things are, dude, there's some like shady stuff always going on. There's like a lot of backstabbing and stuff, and we're not about that. So it's when we found you guys, man, like I said, I just want to give as much any kind of eyes we can put to you guys. I'm all down, man. We love your guys' stuff.
Yeah, any friend of Scrappy is a friend of mine, so like I really, really appreciate what you guys do for other fighters as well. Like I think you guys interviewed Evan Elder. He's a good friend of mine too. So I think like with your content, I just love how you're giving the spotlight to many fighters who may not have the spotlight on them, and that's what I try to do as well.
Right. And one thing, probably last thing on this, and we'll start talking to UFC stuff. We've talked to Calvin Caters and Felicia Spencers and Glover Teixeira's and some Roy Jones Jr. and we talked to big main eventers, but like to my core, just even how I came up, I'm a huge regional guy. Like I love UFC Fight Pass. I'm a huge fan of Icon and Island Fights and Titan FC and LFA, and I love those type of guys that are or girls that are so close, and then you see them in the UFC. We're big Jillian Savage Robertson fans. You know what I mean? Like that's just who we are. So like anytime like Evan, like we're down with him. Like we want to follow his career. Nicholas Maximum, he's another one. Like we're with him to the end. We'll see him in the UFC in a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like the thing about MMA fans is, or maybe I should say UFC fans, is that they only focus on UFC and they don't focus on the other promotions. So like I feel like the other promotions, all the other fighters on the come up, I feel like they don't get enough recognition for what they do, and to follow a fighter, like from LFA or Bellator, or even from the amateur days to get into the UFC. I mean, that's a incredible journey. So like, I feel that more people need to pay attention to fighters coming up from those underground promotions.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, all right. I guess let's transition to some big fights, some big, events coming up. Dude, the next couple pay-per-views for UFC are just gigantic. Okay. I definitely want to hit on before that UFC 11. You got our, GM3. You got Gerald Mershard, who's one of our favorites, versus Chimaev, which like it's just so iconic. It's getting like it's the fighters fight. It's like we can't wait for that. You got Cerrone and Nico Price, and of course you got the main event, Covington and Woodley. All 3 fights I'm just all in love with. Which one out of those 3 are you can't wait, and which way are you thinking in those?
So like right now, I think Nico Price versus Cowboy is just such a stylistic, it's such a great fight stylistically. I've talked to Nico Price before. He's such a great guy. And Cowboy always comes to fight. And I don't know, man, like that fight to me, stylistically, it just looks great on paper. And these guys come to finish. So like we might see Cowboy get another finish, or we might see Nico pull off inverted triangle or something like that, something crazy like that. So I'm expected to see a crazy fight between those 2.
Yeah, no, I can't wait for that. And I'm all in. Like, if you said, hey, you got 12 minutes, you got to watch one, it's Chimaev and GM3 for me. I don't know why. Maybe just because we are so big Mershart guys here on the podcast. I just think GM3 is one of those scrappy veterans that you just can't overlook and take lightly. And I think Chimaev is. He's already got the fight booked with Maya on Fight Island. So I can't wait. Like, that's just such an interesting fight. Love it.
And I feel like that proves, because GM3 is a big step up in competition from the guys that Chimaev has beat. So I think that's a real test for Chimaev. And especially at a weight class that he doesn't normally fight at, because I believe most of his fights are at 170. So I think GM3 is a perfect test for him, honestly.
For sure. I think great matchmaking. And that's one thing that the UFC has been over this last 3 months with the corona and all that. Like the matchmaking abilities in unreal, how quickly and they're pivoting and shifting. And, Kevin Holland fights 2 times in 4 weeks. And then it's wild what they're doing right now. But then the next week after that's the pay-per-view, which is this middleweight bout. Is just one of those once every 4, 5, 6 months, you get one of these iconic fights. Everyone's all in, 2 undefeated fighters. I love it. Izzy and Costa, who do you got going there?
Somebody though has got to go. I think Adesanya, because I feel like stylistically, I mean, I don't know, man. That's such a hard fight to predict, because it's either going to be Izzy picking him apart, or it's going to be Costa getting an early knockout.
Yeah.
So I feel like Adesanya should be able to make it a chess match. I feel like he should be able to outpoint Costa, like Wonderboy has said in the past. So I think stylistically, I think I have Adesanya, but I would not be surprised to see Costa, rush in and maybe get like a lucky knockout, because that guy's powerful.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And it's funny you say that, because I think a lot of people, especially in the media, a lot of people who watch as many fights as we are saying the same thing. It's weird in the MMA game when everyone's like that. Costa's going to win in a minute, or Izzy will win in 25. Usually it doesn't work like that. Izzy's going to TKO him in 40 seconds, or Costa might win for 22 minutes. He might just dominate him and maybe just grapple him and just hold him against the cage and clinch him. That's just the MMA game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's very apparent at UFC 248. We thought Romero would, or we thought it would probably be the same case where Romero would get like a first round knockout, or
right.
Izzy gets a decision. But it didn't play out that way, where it's just like a boring fight. So maybe this fight will play out differently. Definitely going to be a spectacle to watch.
It is. And then the co-main event, we finally have a new UFC light heavyweight champion. It's been a decade, it seems like, with Reyes and Bonhovic. Who do you see in that?
I feel like Reyes. I haven't watched much of Black John, but he definitely has the Polish power. But I don't know. Reyes looked really good against John Jones, and not that many people look good against John Jones. So I feel like Reyes should be able to win. But we've seen Reyes struggle with I think it was Volkan in a couple fights ago. So but I feel like I have Reyes winning that fight, probably by they're both knockout artists, but I feel like John's chin will hold up for 5 rounds. So I feel like Reyes should be able to get the unanimous decision.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one too. I kind of see that probably going a little bit deeper than people think. Reyes should stay on the outside at the beginning against Bonhovic and see what it goes. Finally, then after that, or actually, yeah. Oh no, I think that's in Fight Island as well. But then there's 3 events in Fight Island, 3 main events that I love. It's Glover and Thiago Santos. He's back from the ACL. We got Marlon Morales versus Sandhagen, which is pretty dope fight. And then probably to me, my favorite, the Korean Zombie versus BT or Brian Ortega. I love T-City. Out of those 3 main events, which one is really sparking at you?
I think the Korean Zombie versus Ortega is just such a great fight. They obviously have a storyline from friendly to foes. So I just love the storyline behind that fight, and I feel like they're gonna go out and kill each other. They always come to fight, and with Korean Zombie and Ortega, they have so much heart. They've shown it in their fights. Like Ortega has shown his heart against Holloway, and Korean Zombie showed his heart against Yair. So I feel like that's a great fight. I think that's the one I'm most excited for right now.
Yeah, probably for the rest of the year, that could be one of those sleeper fight of the year kind of a fights. It can go 25 minutes. I would assume it's going to be a war of some sort, because both those guys, that's all they do. That could easily be a fight of the year candidate. Then we're finally there. UFC 254, literally 9 fights deep. It is ridiculously stacked. We're going to end up finally with Gaethje and Nurmagomedov. stack card. It looks like Dustin and Tony won't happen on that. I think the UFC gods are trying to tell us that Ferguson and Khabib needs to happen somehow, but we'll see. What do you think of UFC 254?
Such a great card, and with Justin and Khabib fighting, I mean, obviously, I'm devastated that we won't get to see Tony versus Khabib, but I truly feel like Justin's probably the best. I feel like he has the best chance of beating Khabib, but that's just my opinion. I feel like I favored Justin a lot in that fight. He's probably the best wrestler that we've seen Khabib face inside the octagon, and obviously one of the best strikers as well. So I feel like he should be able to not defend or I feel like he should be able to defend most of the takedowns. But even if he does get taken down, we've seen Abel Trujillo get up many times against Khabib. Right. So I feel like he should be able to sprawl and brawl and maybe get a knockout over Khabib. I don't know.
Wow, that'd be insane. That would be bananas. All right, so a couple questions, couple fun little topic, hypothetical things I'll do with you. Last ones, I like it a lot. We'll save it for the end. One is, who is a fighter you've talked to or not talked to, doesn't matter. Who's a fighter, Bellator, LFA, UFC, doesn't matter, that you think is the stupidly underrated person that maybe you talk to or maybe you have some inside information with? Who's a fighter that the fans should know about really, really soon or really take eyes for?
Oh, that's a good question. I've interviewed about around 30 fighters. I want to say Macy Chasson. Yeah, I think that's how to pronounce it. Macy Chasson is such a great fighter. I'm a really big fan of hers. And especially because I'm right outside of Dallas, and she trains at Fortis MMA. But she has real knockout power, and the bantamweight division better be ready for her because I think she got her last fight canceled, but it's only a matter of time where she puts herself in the position for a title shot. She's got some mad skills, and she won the Ultimate Fighter at 28. So I feel like people are in for a rude awakening when it comes to her.
Wow. Okay, I like that. Out of all the interviews you guys done on MMA Island, what's probably maybe like a dark horse favorite of yours? It could be one of the bigger ones, or it could be just one holy crap, I had a great time with him or her. You guys still talk to this day. Who's one of your favorite interviews you guys done on MMA Island?
So I actually have to look through all of my interviews right now. I think from my team, I think it has to be Robert Whitaker. But yeah. I didn't interview him, so I think that's our biggest one to date. Zach loved talking to him, but I think out of mine, I don't know. I love talking to Joanne Calderwood. I think she's such a great person. But I think underrated. I feel like Jay Cuccinello is definitely he has some insight for the ages. As many of you all know, he made it to the finals of Tough 27, I believe. Didn't get the win, but I don't know. For his insight outside the UFC is just incredible, and he's one of the better people of the sport for sure.
Right. How many people do you have working with you guys? You named a couple there. Do you guys almost take turns, or do you guys just all try to get as many interviews as possible and skip times? How many people you got working with you guys?
So I believe right now it's at 6 because we have Zach, which is kind of the vice president, where he covers a lot of media, and he obviously got the media credentials for Bellator, which we were excited about. And he does he captures most of the interviews for us through management or whatnot. Then we have Atticus, another interviewer, Michael, who's our news insider. We have Slick Diaz, Meme Lord. Then we have another journalist, Jordan, working for us on the website. So nice. I think it's around 6 people. I believe MMA Island Jr. too. He runs my backup page. So we do have quite a bit of people working with us, and obviously I can't leave out my my dude Jake Mudd, who's also a journalist. But so we have a really good team behind us, and I feel like we're able to keep that consistency of our interviews and stuff like that.
That's awesome, man. That's really cool. I love it. All right, so here's my fun question for you. I think the last podcast I did, 311 with Felicia Spencer, I talked about this, and it hit me when Ariel Helwani was talking about, like, he's breaking the news with Burns and Usman, and then he mentioned Masvidal and Diaz too. And he's like, yeah, it looks like it's going to be December. It might be January of 2021. I'm like, holy shit, like 2021. That just seems so off and so far off. If you're a matchmaker, what would be 5 or a couple mega huge fights that you would love as a fan or just, someone who, covers MMA? What would be some dream fights in 2021 that you would love to see?
I feel like eventually we need to see Masvidal versus McGregor. I feel like because
that made the list. That made the list.
With Street Jesus, we saw that he, I believe I'm not sure. I think he broke the record for pay-per-views this year at 1.3 million. So like it was a stacked card, but Jorge's name brought it up there. So I feel like when you get a guy like Jorge and a guy like Conor, that one will definitely break the pay-per-view record. I feel like it's going to do better numbers than Khabib and Conor. So I feel like that's the fight to make in 2021.
Yeah, no, that made the list. That was number 3. My 5 and 4. 5, I had Cejudo coming back to challenge Volkanovski. I think that would be dope. Him as a featherweight, 3 championship, 3 titles. I think that'd be cool. 4, I had Thug Rose versus Jung Wei Lee. That would be my best female fight.
That's a good fight.
I'm a huge Thug Rose fan. Like, anytime you give me 15 or 25 minutes of Thug Rose, I'm all in. I love it. 3rd was Masvidal and Conor. My number 2, John Jones moving up to heavyweight. Huge rumors. John Jones versus Brock Lesnar. Like, come on. Like, that's a pay-per-view monster. That's like Godzilla and King Kong going at it. Love it. And then my number 1, in a weird way, I just need to see it. I feel as a fight fan and as like all the GOAT talk. If Nurmagomedov gets through Gaethje and he's 29-0, Nurmagomedov versus George St. Pierre, to me, it just on the gravestone, whoever wins that fight's the greatest mixed martial artist of all time. I just think that's the GOAT status, over, done with, and that would be the fight to make. That's for me.
Yeah, I truly believe that GSP is the GOAT. So, like, for Khabib to beat him, especially, like, I'm not sure if I'll ever consider Khabib the GOAT just because of when you compare the title defenses to GSP and Silva and John Jones. But I definitely think that would put Khabib in the top 5 of the GOAT conversation for sure.
Right. And maybe not, but like Khabib to be 30-0, everyone thinks 155 is the most stacked division. And then just going through that 4 in a row would be Conor, Dustin, Gaethje, and GSP. Like, that's it. That's insane.
That's insane right there.
So that would be nuts. But, man, I'm done. I'm rolling. If there's anything else you want to drop or anything else you want to talk about. So, wait, now, I know that you guys have the Instagram account, MMA Island. You guys have a website now as well?
Yes, MMAisland.net. We weren't able to secure the .com, but we went with the .net. But I'm trying to publish an article every day on there.
Right. That's awesome, man. We got a really great news writer. I write some, and we do all the podcasts are on there as well. But then we have a guy named Ross Markey. He is phenomenal. He writes 2, 3, 4 interviews a day. I mean, questions, and he news breaks, fight matchups, breakdowns. Ross Markey's a great guy. But yeah, it's cool, man. Like, what we wanted to do here at Fight Banana is like, I talk to so many fighters, but now, like, we have a betting podcast underneath us. We have a bare knuckle podcast underneath us. We actually have we got a new podcast coming underneath us in the next 10 days. So I got to keep that secret for a second. But we're just trying to create content, man. Content's king,
Yeah, for sure. And I love the stuff that you guys are doing. And you're covering the BKFC events in Daytona Beach today, right?
Yeah, I'm going there right now. I'm leaving this and I'm driving right there. That's why I got my flamingo shirt on. Nice,
man. I love Daytona Beach. I went there I think 2 years ago, but that place is incredible. And like to see the Daytona Beach, it's like the sign over the street where it's like the world's most famous beach. I just love everything about that city.
My studio is 10 minutes from that sign, and then that sign is literally 3-4 minutes from the Ocean Center where the venue's at. I was out there yesterday for weigh-ins. It's going to be a good show, man. I'm actually really excited for the show. Thiago Alves, we just talked to Kendall Grove a couple days ago. He's in the co-main event, so I like the card. It's going to be a great card.
Yeah, and man, I love Grove because I remember, I believe he was one of the first fighters that I actually became a fan of because when the UFC 2010 video game came out, I remember that I would always play with Kendall Grove on there. So like to see him in BKFC is definitely awesome.
Yeah, I kind of told him that. I even told him that off air. I'm just that old school MMA guy. I remember I literally watched Bonner and Griffin live, and Kendall
man, that's my favorite fight ever.
Of course, it always that is definitely up there. But Kendall won Tough Enough 3, and I was like, dude, like when I was a teenager, like Kendall, you were my guy, like you were my dude, and I'm interviewing him a couple of days ago, so it was pretty surreal. It was awesome.
Yeah, for sure. I have to ask, what's your favorite interview to date?
Man, that's a good one. There's
so many. Right?
I and it's so funny too. I become like, I wish I can show you the studio. I got pictures up of everyone. And then, I talked to so many of them. One of my favorite human beings in this world is Jacob Kilburn, Impa Kasanganai. I talk to these guys, daily almost, every couple of days. They become part of our family. I don't know, man. I probably have to say, in a weird way, Jillian Robertson. She was podcast 1, 100, 200. She was 300 with Dean Thomas and Shorty Torres. Just a huge fan of Jillian. She's always been so gracious to us. And, when she has a fight, before it's out there in the world, she kind of slips it to us and be like, hey, put it in the vault. I'm like, sounds good. So we appreciate anything we get to do with Jillian.
Yeah, Jillian's so nice. I believe one of my guys interviewed her a couple of months ago, but she's always positive, and that's definitely what I like about her.
Yeah, no, she's badass. She likes to smoke and choke people, so it is what it is.
A good combination right there.
Exactly, man. I appreciate you, dude. Anytime you want to come on with it. We'll break down fights or we'll preview shows. Love to have you back, man.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. I really appreciate the time. Sorry for missing out the other morning. I was too busy.
Don't worry. No, it's all good, man. It happens in the fight game. People miss out on fights,
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
All right, my man. Chris, have a good one, brother.
You too.